Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. This morning I'm looking at a book which has come to us from Jordan Publishing and their imprint, which is called Family Law. This is an important book for anybody involved in the family courts at whatever level, because it gives you some very substantial and detailed advice on the financial remedies available. The book is called Financial Remedies Handbook. It's this book here. It's for 2015. It's now in a 10th edition and it's been written by two people, Roger Bird and Andy King. It's also available as an e-book, and as I've indicated, is part of the Family Law series of books. Jordans are preeminent in this field, and we couldn't do our work without the massive assistance we get from that publishing house. So thank you to them for what they do for us. Elizabeth and I have looked at this book, and we've come up with a title for our book review, which is The Definitive Guide to the Intricacies of Financial Remedies, a must for family law practitioners. And that's exactly what this book is. We've looked at it before, and this is the new edition. It's a paperback. There's the front, there's the spine, then there's the back. It runs to something approaching nearly 700 pages. That's the index right at the back. There's a lot of detail. Then we go actually into the copy itself. There are a lot of forms and things which are cited in the actual main structure. Appendix A, which is actually halfway through the book, sets out forms and orders, and there's a huge amount of information to go with it, including you have the full family procedure rules set out in the book. And the main part of the book, of course, covers the individual chapters, and you've got paragraph numbering, and you've got a small number of footnotes at the bottom to assist you all the way through. For instance, that's chapter 9 on consent orders. If we go to the front of the book, there is the main front page there. This book is actually quite really easy to read, and for those who are litigants in person, they may find it helpful to have this book as well. That's a forward by Lord Justice Thorpe, and that's a forward to the earlier edition there. Then you've got a preface from Roger Bird for the new edition, which sets out what's happened since the last edition came out. Then you have a detailed set of contents, and you can see, whilst you've got the index at the back, you do have a lot of information in the individual chapters. So you should be able to find what you're looking for quite quickly. There are quite a large number of chapters with all the usual issues that you want to look at. There are a total of 23 chapters in all, and then you have the appendices, which is actually makes up about 1/3 of the book. Then what you do have is the forms. Now, the forms are quite important because they're listed, and you can see that if you're looking for a particular form and some information, you will find that at the back of the book. Then you have, in addition, you have all the specific rules, practice directions, and so on. Then you have a table of cases, which is quite useful. Then you have statutes, of course, again at the front, which is the normal way we do things, then table of statutory instruments. Some books have them at the back, but I find them easier at the front. Then you have now some European materials which are coming in, various articles, protection of human rights and so forth. And there's a useful list of abbreviations, which again I think will be very helpful for people in this area of law, because like everything, they do abbreviate, and it's sometimes quite difficult to remember what some of these abbreviations actually mean. Then you've got the introduction to financial remedies and so forth, and then you get into the book itself. So that is the actual book. As I've indicated before, there's a lot of information contained in it, which I'm sure everybody will find of great help. I'll leave the book there, and this is what we actually say about the book. There cannot be a family law practitioner anywhere, at least not in England and Wales, who isn't grateful for the very existence of Roger Bird's Financial Remedies Handbook, which has been co-authored with Andy King. Since the first edition came out in 1998, this work of special reference has come to be held in the highest esteem for its erudition and staunch reliability within what is a difficult area of law. Financial remedies being the new name in divorce cases and any form of family breakdown dispute for what was hitherto called ancillary relief. The news is that this definitive guide is out now in a new 10th edition, published recently by Jordan's Family Law imprint. It's definitely the go-to or turn-to practitioner's handbook, which fortunately, considering the complexity of the subject, is written in an accessible, plain English style, containing clearly explained advice and comment on practice and procedure. We think the book's essentially practical approach is ideal for the hard-pressed family practitioner under pressure, and that's actually what you've got, especially if you are in the family court and you're trying to negotiate, and therefore it's something that is useful because you really don't have much time, as I'm sure many of you will know. The authors point out that the book is principally concerned with that class of remedies defined basically as a financial order, which encompasses a number of other remedies and is further defined by still more, all succinctly explained in the introductory section of the book. I think that's quite important to remember, because the orders you get from the court will not be, they will be much wider, because the judges normally are intent on trying to cover every aspect so the case doesn't come back to court. Makes sense, of course. Then from there on, when you go into the book, virtually every aspect pertaining to financial remedy is covered in detail, as a quick glance through the detailed table of contents, which you looked at earlier, will show. Key areas examined, to cite only a few examples, range from transfer of property and housing needs to insolvency, to rights of creditors and costs. And it's a completely revised edition, as to be expected, which provides analysis and guidance on all recent developments in case law. And of course it's a fascinating read there as well. Also note the new chapter on arbitration. There's much emphasis, of course, today throughout on, for example, the principles of fairness and equality of spouses, as in the author's word, the search for fairness and consistency in this area of law continues. He also notes, in fact both of them note, that judges of the higher courts have been making an effort to record the clear principles governing their approach to decision making, and there are many such examples in this edition. I think it's especially useful and time-saving for practitioners when you get to the final section, which takes up basically not half but probably a good third of the book, and that consists of the appendices containing the necessary multitude of forms and orders. That includes financial remedy orders, of course, and many others, and it's followed then by the key legislative provisions including the family procedure rules. And it's also useful to note the extensive tables of cases, statutes, SIs and European materials, all presented conveniently to hand in one volume. Let me conclude by saying that, considering the complexity and sensitivity inherent in this continually changing area of law, the purchase of this latest edition of Financial Remedies Handbook should be regarded as essential to their library by all family law practitioners, and the law is as stated on the 15th of June 2015. This is the book again. You can have a look at it there, spine and then the back. But just open it up in the middle. You can see, before we get to the actual appendices, that's about procedure. Again, you've got a standard paragraph numbering and you've got the footnoting. And as I've indicated, it's a very substantial work in just under 700 pages. But it is what you need if you're a practitioner. And as I've said before, many people today are litigants in person, so it may well be that this is a book for you if you are representing yourself in court and you need to try and find out how you're going to sort out the assets and get the remedies you seek. So thank you to the authors and to Jordan's for an excellent new publication. It's well worthwhile and we're very grateful to have it. Bye-bye.